Good evening. I'll keep it short, 10 minutes, but I'll keep it relevant. So, most of you have seen data protection over the years. You're custodians of data in your respective organizations. Challenges have evolved over a period of time. I've spent more than 7-8 years doing data protection itself. I spent 6 years building out a cloud company from 2009 to 15, read VMware. And now I find data protection so interlinked with cybersecurity that I sometimes wonder, am I in data protection or am I in cybersecurity? Though we are not a security company, but the way this is going last 2-3 years after COVID, you would resonate with me that it's far more challenging than before. So a few years back, I used to talk about complexity, which is there. We are here talking about advantages of cloud, multi-cloud environments, moving data from one cloud to another. The question always is, how do you secure your data when you have so much choice? How do you secure your data when you are digitizing at the pace at which you are digitizing? How do you secure your data in spite of all the cyber risks which exist? We had more than 100,000 plus cyber cases in India last year itself, probably 1.32 lakh plus cases. So it's only increasing in terms of complexity. And what are they looking at? They are looking at exfiltrating your data. So earlier it was about locking up your data and asking for a ransom. Now it is about exfiltration of data. So before your data gets locked up, there is already data with them which they would publish somewhere, which could be your customer data or something else. And the reputational loss and the ability to get back the business is challenging. So that is one of the key reasons why data protection today is a board discussion and not just a back-end data center discussion as it was a few years back. So that, I think, is a huge step for data protection. Not that we want the cyber crimes to rise. We obviously want to protect your data and reduce it, but unfortunately the trend suggests that it's only increasing day by day. And in terms of skills, you have a business to run. You are CXOs, you are challenged to bring in business agility, you are challenged to align IT with business and not run data protection. And generally there is a shortage of skills in the market. We will address some of this very quickly. And in terms of data growth, we've been speaking about it for years. Data is growing at an unprecedented pace, especially with digitization now. And you can see even the government do or take amazing steps in that. We saw Aadhaar, we are seeing Digi Yatra now, interestingly, newer examples coming. So the pace is unprecedented, whether it's a private sector or the government. And we are all benefiting thanks to the digitization that is happening. But at the same time, we are generating enormous amount of data that we need to protect. And a lot of this is also privacy data, which you will have to protect now with the law coming in. We will have to differentiate different types of data and make sure that they are protected in the right way as per the law. So how does Commvault help you on this journey, and how does Commvault ensure that your data is safe and we can protect it? So as I said, these days we are more a security company than a data company, given that the challenges on the security side is very high. So when you ask a board, for example, or a board asks you, are you safe from ransomware? Very often the CXO answer is, maybe we are, but there is a chance it can get in. So if there is a black and white answer required, we may not be able to give a black and white answer. But the answer that potentially that you can give to your board is, how quickly can you recover? You cannot tell the board that you're 100% safe, but you can say you will recover at a certain point in time. So what is that certain point in time which is acceptable to business? It varies from business to business, and especially if you have a higher threshold or you're a bank which needs to recover in a few hours, it's a very different proposition, a different architecture, a different expense as compared to an ITS company which probably has a little more time in terms of recovery. So the paradigm shift now is, we were talking BCP DR all these years. It is very important. Yes, there could be a flood, there could be a natural disaster or anything else. But now we are talking cyber resiliency DR. Reason being, when you have ransomware, you could have your primary data center and your DR data center locked up without access to your own data. So how do you ensure that at that situation you're able to get your business back online with an RTO which is very acceptable to your business? So this is the new paradigm. Look at how you have designed your solutions, how quickly you can get that data back. So the RTO For some companies it is 5 hours, for some companies it is 3 hours, for somebody else. We even have companies which said, okay, I have these 3,000 virtual machines in the cloud. The first 100 need to be done in a few hours, say 3 hours, but the remaining can happen in the next 2 days. But then we design it in a way where we have them in an immutable storage on the cloud, air gapped, so you have a safe copy somewhere which you can get in the case of ransomware. Get that clean copy in, restore your data as quickly as possible with the necessary RTOs and get your business back. Now this may sound very simple, but actually it requires quite a bit of designing, and based on a multi-cloud environment that you choose based on your applications, there are a lot of architectural decisions to be taken, but very doable, eminently doable. The second thing that probably is critical is on the day of reckoning, assuming that we have a situation and we need to recover the data, there's obviously a lot of pressure. You have 3-4 calls a day, or maybe 5-6 calls a day, where you have to report the progress. I have seen businesses, I was in cybersecurity just before this, I have seen businesses come to a standstill. I have seen a PSU releasing a PO in 4 to 5 hours, which I was shocked. But then I also saw that they had nothing else to do but release the PO, because everything else is encrypted, and all they were doing is trying to get their business back on track. So this is a difficult situation. So in this difficult situation, if you have to take a choice whether the copy of data that you're restoring on that day, with everybody breathing down your neck, whether that copy of data is clean, how do you know? So these are some of the challenges that customers are facing, because you would take a copy of data, you don't know whether it is infected, reinfected, and you would try to restore it, take a few hours, and then realize, oh God, this is also infected. So this is a very practical situation. So what we do is, we as Commvault, we have started automating all these processes. We tell you what's the last known good copy. We tell you this copy is clean. You can go ahead, don't do the last night's copy, do the copy before that, because we see this already infected. So this is the kind of automation that we are bringing in to help you understand what's a clean copy of data. We are trying to bring your RTO down. We are also trying to automate that. Just like BCP-DR, we are automating that whole situation so that you know the last known good copy, bring it down through automation, get it restored, and get your business back on track in that situation. Now, this is all defensive. Can we get offensive? Can we stop a ransomware attack for you? So we are going that extent too. So we also bought a security company very recently. It's an Israeli security company, and what this does is it creates decoys. So decoys are not new to the cybersecurity industry, but this is a decoy net. It's not like one honey pot. This is like a complete honey net. You can deploy multiple of those very quickly. And how does it help you? So moment you have a attacker or a cyber criminal coming in there and playing around with the data, we give you a lot of telemetry. So we are probably one of the first data protection vendors to go and integrate with your security systems, with your SIM, with your SOAR, so that we throw an alert right out there. Now, we have also integrated it with the data protection to an extent where your admin, while taking a backup, will be asked, would you want to put a decoy of this database? Would you want to put a decoy of this app? So the moment you throw these decoys out, and moment somebody comes and touches that, you have alerts in your security systems, and you know somebody is trying to do something, and a lot of telemetry surrounding that. So as a data protection vendor, I can say, okay, here is your data the day you are ransomware. I will restore it in this time. It is still defensive. Now I'm going a step further and giving you intelligence which will help you prevent the attack, rather than go through the pain of the attack and try and restore the data. So these are two things that we are able to bring to the table very clearly. And again, as I spoke about the personal information and the act that is coming, we also are bringing in sensitive data governance into day-to-day backup. So you put a compliance module there, nobody follows it, it's in some corner, but every day when your folks are backing up the data, we will tell you these files are your patent files, these files are your IP, these files are, say, your trade secrets, etc., etc. We differentiate at that hour itself so that you can take a call where to keep it, how to store it. We differentiate those data pieces within your organization as you are doing it. So this again helps you get your risk in place, adherence to the laws in place, etc., etc. It's almost like an X-ray into what you're doing every day. So this is a bunch of stuff that we are doing beyond data protection today. As you can see, we are getting more and more aligned with cybersecurity, but the need of the hour is how do you kind of balance this threat perception and also secure your data. And in a multi-cloud environment, what Commvault has done is we have also brought in SaaS to address the skill issue. We see that as a major problem. So we bought a company called Metallic in 2019. We hit 100 million ARR in just 3 years, one of the fastest growing SaaS. So we brought in SaaS into the data protection industry. You don't have to do anything. All you do is, for example, go to your cloud, put in your secret key there. It tells you these are the different workloads you use on that cloud. Just check box and say backup, that's it. And it backs up all your workloads the way you want it. And then just look at your report. So you could be 30% SaaS, 70% on-prem, you could be 100% SaaS, doesn't matter. We will show you all your data landscape on one dashboard. So whether it is your endpoints, whether you use O365, whether you use different kind of databases on-prem, you use something else on the cloud, and whether you're using SaaS applications like Workday or SAP or some form of SaaS, Salesforce, etc., all that data, endpoint to databases to your key corporate app, everything on a single database. So you own your data landscape irrespective of which cloud you reside in and how much of on-prem assets you have. So this is the real story of Commvault, bringing everything together and with the cybersecurity layer built on top of it, so that you can recover from any one of these incidents which are very common today with an RTO, and you can go to your board with confidence and say, if it happens, this is the time at which I recover, and this is and you can test it and give the reports, which is what most CIOs and CISOs are doing today. They test it every quarter and tell the board that this is the speed at which I am able to recover in case of a situation like this. So we have a booth outside just in case you have any questions and any doubts, any clarifications. Happy to have a conversation outside. But with that, I'll bring the presentation to a close. Thank you for a patient hearing.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.